Raised by the Mansfields alongside her cousin, Lady Elizabeth, Dido grew up in luxury at Kenwood House, a world away from the experiences of most black people in England at the time. S.I. Martin is an expert on black British history, and I'm hoping he can tell me more about Dido's life at Kenwood.
This is, a far cry from the way that most people in Georgian Britain would have grown up. But I would imagine that for a black woman, it's especially unusual.
There was something very particular about Dido's situation, though it wasn't unique. There were other black people, particularly people of mixed background, who had, similar to Dido's own parentage, one white male father and usually a black enslaved mother, who were lucky enough to enjoy some degree of the luxuries that Dido would have enjoyed. But it's true to say that her experiences overall were very different from the vast majority of black people living in Britain at the time.
And she worked within the grounds as well, doesn't she, at the home? Was that usual? Yeah,
work of the sort that Dido was engaged in, low-level household duties, looking after the dairy, working with Lord Mansfield, note-taking, light accounts. These would be the occupations of a gentlewoman of the period, and perhaps Dido considered herself as such, but they wouldn't have been the duties with which the lady of the house would have bothered herself, and I doubt very much if Lady Elizabeth would have had anything to do in those domains at all. One interesting feature of the likeness of Dido in the painting is that she's wearing both a turban and an ostrich feather.
Yeah. And
although at the time the wearing of turbans had become quite fashionable amongst some parts of the upper classes, it's also a signifier for a lot of young black people in domestic service.
So Dido's life here at Kenwood, her family, the relationships that they had, she was clearly cared for.
Although we know that she was fawned on and that she was a great favourite and confidant of Lord Mansfield, Dido is illegitimate. She did not always dine with her blood relations, as they were. She is definitely outside family. This would have been a very difficult issue just to negotiate socially and culturally, to meet others outside the family, even within the family. It would have caused problems, and that would have set her apart.